Hello, you're about to see remote viewing, a card trick that you can do with any deck, anywhere, with a beautiful spectator. Say hello to everybody.
Hello.
Good. Do you play cards? A little bit, right? So you know how to shuffle them?
Yes.
Okay, good. In a second I'm going to ask you to shuffle up these cards, but first, interesting, you come from Moldova, correct? We were speaking about this at the Republic of Moldova. Big props to my peeps in Moldova. However, so you speak Russian, right?
Yes.
Now, you may have heard about this growing up in a Russian-speaking country. There were lots of studies done, specifically in Eastern Europe, about people that could remote view. So it was the idea that they could close their eyes and somehow transcend themselves from the spot they were standing in to somewhere else in the world and describe what they were seeing. Sounds great, right? Impressive. It's like you can always take a vacation without ever having to pay. Right now we could just pretend we were in Hawaii and we'd be walking around on the Hawaiian beach, which would be lovely. However, we don't have that because the budget's limited, so we do have a deck of cards. This is what I'm going to ask you to do. I want you to take the cards and cut them into two piles for me, or just shuffle the cards together actually, just shuffle them. That's okay, take your time, make sure they're well mixed. And then push them together. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to face away from you, and I want you to take these cards right here and deal them down onto the table, and whenever you come up to one like this, like a picture card, so a jack, a queen or a king, I want you to stop on that card and focus on it and just concentrate on what it is, and I'm going to see if I can transcend where I'm standing with my back to you to try and tell you what that card is. Does that make sense?
First picture or?
Whenever you keep going.
Whenever
so
I want?
yeah, whenever you hit one, just stop on it. Okay, so every time, and I'm going to turn away. So obviously the first one is the jack of clubs, which is not particularly difficult to tell. And when you do get to another one, tell me that you have a picture card. You've got one right there, okay? Good. Now I'm getting the impression that this is a red picture card. Is that correct?
That's right.
And it's a heart.
Yeah.
And it's a jack, just like the jack of clubs. Keep dealing through for me until you come to the next one, and just tell me that you've hit the next one. Just say yes, I see it. Good. Keep looking at the queen of spades and then carry on dealing forward for me. Is that correct? Good. Excellent. Now, I would say this is also a spade, and it's also, in fact, it's the husband of the card that you just looked at. This is the king of spades, correct?
That's right.
Keep going until you see the next one. And remember, you did shuffle these cards up, is that correct? And you were happy with the shuffle. You know that you mixed them. Good. Are you looking at another one yet?
Yes, I am.
Good. It's a red one this time, and it's a diamond. It's the queen of diamonds. Keep dealing. And I think, interestingly, if my powers of remote viewing are accurate right now, you're looking at one right now.
Yeah.
It's also a queen, and it's a black queen this time. It's the queen of clubs.
That's right.
Keep dealing. We're almost done. We have just like,
I have one more.
is that the king of diamonds?
That's right.
Keep dealing. Next one.
Next one. I have it.
Queen of hearts. Keep dealing. Pick up the pace. Let's see if we can get this going. So Queen of Hearts was the last one. Let's see if we can get the next one. The next one's a black one. I think you're about to hit it right now. Is that right?
I just hit it.
Good. And there it is. It's a black one, and it's a king, and it's the king of clubs. Keep dealing. And I think you're going to see the next one in about, I think it's 2 cards away. Is that right? You've got it. It's a red one, and it's the jack, and it's the jack of diamonds. Keep going. And I think the next one's going to show up in a couple of seconds. It's going to be like right about now that you're going to see a court card. Are you looking at a picture card right now? It's the jack of spades. And the very last one, just find it in the pack for me.
Found it.
Good. That one has to be the king of hearts. And I think that's every single one out of the deck. Thank you for your help.
Thank you.
And enjoy the remote viewing. Let's go to Hawaii. Hold hands, kick our heels together, and away we go. You've just seen the remote viewing card trick. It's a card trick that can be performed pretty much anywhere, and you just need a regular deck. You don't need any additional gimmicks or anything like that. The trick itself actually can be performed with you, the performer, in a completely separate room, and the spectator in another room with a person writing down the cards, and you can both compare your lists at the end, and you will see that your lists of the cards that you were thinking of are in the same order, which is a nice way to do it if you use this remote viewing theme. If you're doing it one-on-one, as you've just seen, I just turn my back and have my back to the table. So the method itself, the first thing you're going to need to do is separate all of the court cards, the picture cards, the jacks, the queens and the kings, from the rest of the deck. They're going to begin on top. Once you've separated them, give them a shuffle so they are relatively randomly stacked. And now on the inside flap of the card case, I have recorded that order in pen. So I have the Jack of Clubs, Jack of Hearts, Queen of Spades, King of Spades, Queen of Diamonds, Queen of Clubs. So Jack of Hearts, Jack of Clubs, Jack of Hearts, Queen of Spades, King of Spades, Queen of Diamonds, Queen of Clubs. Then you can see King of Diamonds right the way through to the King of Hearts. So that's what's going on inside the card case. This is going to be your crib, so you don't have to remember the order of those cards. To make the trick work, the cards start on top of the deck. You're now going to, if you do this after you've done a few other card tricks, watch for a spectator that takes the cards and shuffles them in a riffle style like this, or like this, or any person that shuffles the cards in a riffle fashion rather than, you know, an overhand fashion, because you're looking for somebody that riffle shuffles. So what you're going to do, you're literally going to put the card box down on the table. You're going to leave the flap open so you don't have to open it later, but put it so the flap is facing down so no one can see that ink written on the flap. You're now going to take the deck, and I say, what I want you to do is to take the cards and just shuffle them to, in fact, just shuffle those cards together. So it's very casual, in fact just shuffle them together. So what's actually happening here, and I'm going to turn over the court cards so you can see the all of the picture cards here. Now obviously these are in the reverse order right now because I've turned them face up, but just for the sake of explanation I'm going to leave them face up. When the spectator shuffles the cards like this, what's actually happening is they're not changing the order of the court cards, they're just changing the frequency of which the court cards appear from the top of the deck down. So that's all that's happening. So if you can somehow logically remove all of the cards in between the court cards, now you know the order of the court cards in the deck. So it's a very simple matter to do that with this shuffle. So when the cards are face down, the cards are shuffled by your spectator. You can now also have the spectator cut if you wish. You don't have to, but if you wish to, you can, so they can cut the cards. So the cards have been shuffled and cut by a spectator. This is very fair. Under the guise of a demonstration as to what the spectator is going to do, instructional actions, you're going to take the cards and deal them face up onto the table, telling them that when they deal through the cards, they're to stop whenever they hit a court card, a picture card, a jack, a queen, or a king. Now notice that language, it's very important. I mean, very explicit with what this is, because some people don't know what court cards mean, some people do not know what the term picture card means, so eventually I add in that phrase, jack, queen, king. So I say, stop at a picture card, a court card, a jack, a queen, or a king. Now, there are a couple of justifications for this. You could say that they're easier for you to read in a remote viewing stance because they have more ink on them, they're more colourful, they're more evocative, and so forth. So what's actually going to happen is you're going to remember this court card, the Jack of Clubs. So you're just going to spot the Jack of Clubs in your crib, right here. Now in this case it's the first card, but had the deck been cut and we were looking at a different first court card, the trick would remain the same. So the King of Clubs happened the very first card I dealt, but it's kind of unimportant. I would just find the King of Clubs in my crib and I would know that the Jack of Diamonds is the next card. So the next court card that's going to show up is going to be the Jack of Diamonds. After the Jack of Diamonds is going to be the Jack of Spades. After the Jack of Spades is the King of Hearts. Now obviously I've exhausted the lower row of my crib here, but all this means is this is the final card of the stack, so now it's a cyclical stack, so you're going to go back up to the Jack of Clubs. So the next card is going to be the Jack of Clubs. So when you deal through you're going to find the Jack of Clubs, wherever that happens to be. This is a really, there you go, Jack of Clubs. That's because we've been talking about cutting them up. You won't get that in performance. Jack of Hearts will be the next one. Then you'll get the Queen of Spades, and then the King of Spades, Queen of Diamonds, Queen of Clubs, and so on, until your entire crib is exhausted. So this is the very simple mechanics of the trick. Now, making the trick play, turning your back on the spectator allows you the opportunity here of directly reading from your crib by folding the flap down, and you're just directly reading from it. The other thing that I tend to do is, while they're dealing the cards, every now and again I'll guess as to a court card having shown up. I'll time it out a couple of weeks and I'll be like, I think that you've just seen a new one, is that right? So you just get the illusion that you're actually predicting what's happening even before they get to that card. Go back and watch the performance again and you'll see what I mean by varying the pace and the pitch and the way you deliver the revelations of the card. It's a simple trick, but it's a strong trick. Protect the core secret, serve it well, and you'll be fooling people with this trick in no time. Get out there and do it.